Yeah, hi everyone. This is our first episode of the Clone Hero podcast, I guess. Name may change. I don't know. We're testing something out here.
Yeah.
I think what you'll come to get from us later down the line is we'll have streamers interviewed maybe, hopefully. I don't know. Our first podcast here is we're interviewing Garry, who is also known as HellAshes, the first man to FC Jordan.
And to get a car.
Yeah. Yeah, and he won a car for it, so... Or I guess not for it,
I was the first man to win a car.
You know, he won a car, and he still drives it, so it's cool.
I guess we can introduce ourselves, I guess. My name is Ulrich I'm a member of the Clone Hero community.
You're a helper in the Clone Hero Discord.
Yeah, I'm a helper in the Clone Hero Discord, yeah.
I'm Zero. I'm an admin in the Clone Hero Discord. Yeah, and I run the custom song spreadsheet. That's cool.
Hi, I'm HellAshes, also known as Garry, amateur streamer, veteran, Guitar Hero player.
L0rd Renegade, or Ray, helper of the Clone Hero Discord and creator of the first C3 conversion drive.
Alright, well, you want to just start talking about something? I don't know.
No, what's the first topic?
Let's go in order. Let's talk about your time on TV.
Yeah.
Oh, so the whole car experience. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is like back in 2007, and I was already, so the Score Hero thing was already pretty big. Jordan FC hadn't happened yet. The WSVG fail on stage had already happened. So my friend showed me the competition. I actually didn't know about it at first. And the way it worked is you would go to... Well, let me see how I said it again. The way it worked is there were 8 hot topics located around the country that you would enter in, pretty much have its own contest, have its own competition, and the closest one to me was in Paramus, New Jersey, which is like a 3.5-hour drive, so I had to have my father drive me down there to sign up and then drive home, and then 2 weeks later drive back to do the competition. So thumbs up to him for doing all that damn driving for me. But the competition itself, it was run interesting. There's 4 TVs and like 80 people. So yeah, so there's like 80 people entered in this thing in this tiny little hot topic. And
In a hot topic.
yeah, in a hot topic.
It was really hot then.
Yeah. So the way it worked is that there was pretty much like a best, like the top 16 moved on. So you had 80 people playing 3s and 7s on 4 TVs. And so I got to hear 3s and 7s about 100 times. Not a bad song to listen to a lot 100 times, but
Did it mess you up because of the audio being played at the same time you were trying to play?
Well, they weren't exactly like next to each other, kind of. It was kind of like arranged. They were far enough apart where you really couldn't hear the other TVs. They were pretty close together, but I really didn't hear anything but my own TV. I forgot what it was. Whoever was running it said, "Anybody here thinks they can win the whole thing?" And I'm just this freaking cocky 17-year-old person. I had a big head back then, so I'm the only one who raised his hand, and everybody's looking at me. And then it's like, "You think you can win the whole? You can win the whole thing?" And I'm like, "I think so. I know I'm good at this game." And so that kind of threw a lot of hype on me, I guess. So good job on my part. But I was the only person who FC'd 3s and 7s out of everybody there, so that was a good start. Round of 8, I want to say was Impulse. Round of 4 was Number of the Beast. Yeah, that's it. And the final round was Knights of Sidonia. And I almost lost. Came very close to losing against somebody on Knights of Sidonia, but squeaked out at the end. And then the way the competition worked after that is the winner of each Hot Topic contest of the 8 got to play the quote-unquote secret song. You can only guess what the secret song was.
Obviously Through the Fire and Flames, guys.
Through the Fire and Flames. You had to play it with headphones on, and I suck playing with headphones on, so I did very terrible because I couldn't hear myself strum. That they had to pull everybody out of the store and all this other stuff, and I'm like, shit, I got like 650K or something, and everybody on Score Hero at the time's getting like 750, 800 and stuff, so I'm like, all right, I'm done. I'm not going to freaking go on. There's no way. I played this so bad. And then, you know, a week later, I get a call from a producer at G4, and they're like, you came in the top 2 of the, you know, top of the 8 hot topics. So the top 2 get to go to California and play in the finals for the car on Attack of the Show. And I actually did not know that was happening at the time. I didn't know that it was sponsored by G4. Well, it was sponsored by Pontiac, but I know G4 was a part of it. Back then, I freaking loved G4. That was like my jam. Even though that channel kind of fell into obscurity now, but that's besides the point. And I loved Attack of the Show, X-Play, and all that stuff, so I was super excited. They freaking smushed the schedule together like crazy. We like flew out Friday night, getting in at like 2 in the morning local time on Saturday. They wake us up, we do the competition, and then we get flown back out like Sunday at 6 in the morning. Like they freaking smushed us in there. We had no free time at all. It was pretty crazy. But the competition itself was interesting because we didn't know what song we were playing until a couple minutes beforehand. And so we did a dress rehearsal, and I got to meet Dan the Man, who's a guy I played against. Trying to see.
He's still around anymore?
I haven't heard from him in a while. I knew he had some kind of presence on Score Hero, but I didn't really hear from him too much. Especially after the competition, I really didn't hear from him again. But yeah, we had the dress rehearsal, and then they mentioned about 5, 6, 7 times, make sure you pick the Pontiac venue. By the way, you got to pick the Pontiac venue. When we do this for real, guys, you got to pick the Pontiac venue. Did I mention you have to pick the Pontiac venue? So
Did you pick the Pontiac venue?
we picked the Pontiac venue.
Okay, just want to make sure.
I'm pretty sure it was. I think they were contractually obligated to pick the Pontiac venue. So we had the dress rehearsal. They take us into the back, and then like 10 minutes beforehand, they're like, "You guys are going to be playing Pride and Joy," and both of us look at each other and go, "Score Hero is going to be fucking pissed." Of all songs to play, we were thinking we were going to play something like. We were thinking we were going to play something difficult, you know, something crazy, you know, not Through the Fire and Flames, obviously, but one of the higher tiered songs, but it's like Pride and Joy. And then I'm thinking, oh yeah, what song is playing in all the Pontiac commercials back in 2007? Frickin' Pride and Joy. So, I didn't have a smartphone back then, so I wasn't able to look up paths or anything like that. And I'm like, shit, I've only played this song once in my sight read. And so hang on, my dog's freaking barking in the background. I hope that I've been picked up. All right, I think I'm good. So we go ahead and start playing, and, you know, they introduce us to Olivia Munn, and I forgot the other guy's name because it wasn't Kevin Pereira. I think it was Zach was the backup host. So it was Zach and Olivia Munn. We're freaking both nervous as hell. Both, like, antisocial, nerdy kids back then. So we're just kind of sitting on TV going, I don't know what to do. I don't want to embarrass myself. And in turn, embarrass ourselves.
That'd be me if I was ever on TV.
And right from the get-go, we start playing. I freaking miss. And I'm like, oh, boy, this is terrible. My hands are sweating. I'm missing easy stuff. I'm going to lose.
Were your palms
and
sweaty?
Honestly, oh, yeah, my palms were sweaty.
Were your knees weak?
Mom spaghetti.
Yeah. Okay, just want to make sure.
Yeah, just making sure. It went back and forth for a bit. You couldn't tell because they very tactically put the camera on top of where the pro face-off meter was, so good on you, G4. But I had no clue what the star power path was. He apparently did. And near the end of the song, I want to say before the final solo, I activated during one of the breaks, if you watch the video. So I'm like, okay, oops, good star power. But IFC'd from there all the way to the end of the song, whereas he was constantly missing in the final solo, so like he was kind of choking up, and he would have won had they not done that. So I kind of got lucky that, you know, he kind of was losing it a bit. It didn't really hit me that I won a car until I actually got the car like 5 months later. Yeah, 5 months later I got the car.
5 months.
You're like, oh boy, I can actually drive now.
Yeah, I got a car, and I'm like, I don't have a license yet.
Well, you had a reason to get one then.
Yeah, it wasn't a scam. I got a car. But so we got to go online and pick stuff out. my parents would not allow me to get a manual, even though I don't know why. They had to pay extra for the automatic transmission, and they covered it. And I avoided paying taxes on that car for about 5 years.
Interesting. I'm noticing, looking at this, that you had shoes that were like 20 times wider than your feet back then.
Yes.
I had a question about G4. How big was it back in 2007?
Oh, it was huge. At least, I mean, it was all I watched on TV.
It was bigger when it was Tech TV. It kind of lost some of its glamour when it turned to G4. A lot of people were pissed off how it was being run after it turned into G4.
Yeah, because it was cops reruns for 12 hours a day.
Yeah, there's so many cops reruns. Really, the only reason to watch it was Attack of the Show and Ninja Warrior.
And X-Play. X-Play was good.
X-Play was pretty good too. I liked X-Play. X-Play's how I figured out. X-Play's how I found out about Guitar Hero. So there you go.
Web Soup was G4, wasn't it?
I don't remember watching that. It probably was.
Yeah, I'm looking at the TV shows of G4, and I'm seeing things like fucking Happy Tree Friends.
Oh yeah, I did put that on there.
I mean, didn't they get liquidated or something? They're gone.
I don't know. No, it still says since 1999. I don't see like an end date yet.
I think Mundo is still going
Probably.
around because they also did Dick figures.
If I remember right, the last thing that G4 did was a Pong thing that went on for like 20 minutes before 12 o'clock. I forget, around 2012. And then they played this I'm from Comic Con thing that was a meme at that point.
That sounds fun.
One of the TV shows on G4 TV was Spaceballs, the animated series in 2008.
I don't remember Spaceballs, but I remember Code Monkeys.
Oh, I do remember Code Monkeys. That was a good show.
But that's honestly fascinating, hearing more about all that.
It was a really interesting experience. There were a lot of angry people on Score Hero because the hot topics were not exactly spread out very well. So there was a lot of people. I think I Am Chris for Life was one of them who was very vocal about the nearest hot topic to him was like 8 hours away.
Shit, dude.
Like he feels they should have had like 16 or something like, and I agree. It should have had it a little more. It was technically national, but 8 hot topics spread out through an entire country is not really gonna do it.
Yeah, especially a country of our size. Huh. But you mentioned the WSVG choke. What do you... I don't think I'm...
You don't know that meme? Okay. That is one the old school Score Hero folk love to bring up because it did happen. WSVG was the first competition I actually did for Guitar Hero. My friend DHO, who is an awesome guy who really got me like more involved in the community by like having get-togethers and shit. But he and his friend drove me all the way up to Toronto to go do WSVG. So he drove me all the way up to Toronto. This was like August, I think, 2007. And the way WSVG worked, it was similar to WCG or MLG and all that stuff, where it's like a multitude of games. But they had a Guitar Hero section, GH2, and the way it worked is that they scored you 3 ways. They would score you for the difficulty of the song itself, so you had to pick a hard song, how well you did on it, and your performance. So it was a 1 through 10 scale of difficulty, ability, and performance, and it was run really bad. Like, example, Toy Machine, he's a super big Buckethead fan, and he dressed up as Buckethead, and he's tall, so it kind of works. And then he picked Sweet Child of Mine instead of Jordan because he couldn't play Jordan. And Buckethead was in Guns N' Roses at the time, so it made sense to play Sweet Child of Mine. But the judge who was doing the performance rating gave him a 0 because he's like, you didn't play Jordan, that's Buckethead, 0 out of 10. And everybody's like, what the fuck, man?
It's like learn your Buckethead knowledge, please.
I think I saw the image of Buckethead of VVV or something, I believe. I don't know though. Maybe I did.
Yeah, that was Toy Machine, I think. No. That might have been a different one because Toy Machine wasn't a part of VVV.
Was that the year that Freddie Wong won?
That was one of the ones he won, I believe. It was either him or Kovnik. Kovnik? Can't remember. I think I just call him Cove. But those two were winning a lot of the because they went to different ones. But my story was it was similar setup as the Pontiac one, where you had a round of an unlimited amount of entries, then it goes to a round of 32, then 16, then 8, then 2. So it goes from 8 to 2. So I did well in my first round. I think I played 6. I played The Light That Blinds on 1, I believe. I played Hangar 18 in the round of 16. People loved it. And I was going to play Psychobilly Freakout because I had actually practiced it, where during the long hold I'd switch hands so my right hand was on the frets and my left hand was on the strum bar, and I learned to FC the entire section like that. I just hit my microphone. I learned to FC the entire section like that, and I'm like, that'd be really cool to do on stage. So I was ready to do that, and then Devin told me, he's like, you know what? You should play Jordan in the round of 8 because you're going to make it to the finals if you do Jordan, because Jordan's a huge thing. And I'm like, shit, you're right. So I was practicing it a lot because they had a lot of booths for the Guitar Hero 2 there, and I was hitting solo B, doing pretty well, getting 98% runs. I go on stage, failed it. Fucking completely botched it and failed the song, got knocked out. 8th place.
Damn.
Yeah, it was pretty. And then I got off stage, I played it again, and I was doing good again. So I guess I either choked or the lag settings, I don't know. I didn't save star power for some reason, so I fucked up.
Do you think it was calibration issues?
I think it was just me, because I had no issue hitting anything else. I'm saying when I was playing Hangar 18, I was hitting solo 8 and hitting solo 7 and doing all this crazy stuff, but yeah, I just choked on Jordan.
Maybe it was God's decision.
Yeah, it was like, well, that was August the same year that the Pontiac tournament came, so I guess I redeemed myself.
I'd say so.
I guess.
I mean,
Because you got on TV.
not to mention that WSVG went bankrupt, and they didn't finish the tour, and nobody in any of the games or anything got their prize money.
Oh.
So like Freddie Wong and Cove, guys who were winning other WSVGs from around the country, didn't get any of their prize money. I think I was owed $500 for coming in 8th. I didn't get that, but first place got like $2,500 and $3,000 and stuff like that. So they didn't get anything.
Holy shit.
Wow.
It was pretty bad.
Got scammed.
They got scammed.
I wanted to bring up the Urban Dictionary definitions.
Yeah, same.
Because it seems like they're from one. There was one from 2007 and one from 2008. I see 2 of them related to you.
Yeah, they're pretty great.
Yeah, I'm not sure who made those, but
By Corey XP and the Guitar Hero.
I don't know who either of those people are.
Yeah, I don't know either, but that's what the names are.
I mean, it became somewhat of a meme. My name has become somewhat of a meme even to this day. I mean, my friends still call me the HellAshes because it's like a joke because I was an asshole when I was on Score Hero back like a decade ago because I had a hot head and I was narcissistic. So they kind of like roll with it. If I recall, when I was on the Star Power podcast, the Score Hero podcast they had, when I introduced myself once, I said, my name is HellAshes, and if you don't know who I am, you must be living under a rock. And
Jesus.
so it's like that will live down in infamy for me.
You'll probably that probably got a little bit of backlash, to be honest.
Where does your name come from, though?
Oh, that was me at 12 being edgy on StarCraft. That's pretty much it.
It seems like a name on like Instant Messenger, AOL Instant Messenger or something.
Well, like I'm like 2002. I was edgy and I was like, I'm gonna do Ashes of Hell or something like that. And and then I'm like, oh, you can't do 2 underscores in StarCraft. Yeah, I guess I'll just make it Hell's Ashes. And then I forgot the apostrophe S. So.
Oh, okay, that makes sense then.
Then I made my Hotmail account as HellAshes at Hotmail, and then I made my AOL X HellAshes X, and then I made it on Score Hero HellAshes, and it's stuck. I can't change it now.
Can I read you the 2007 definition?
Yes.
All right. HellAshes, a young and amazing Guitar Hero player, very well known on YouTube for only missing a few notes in the Guitar Hero 2 track Jordan. His other competition is Wolf E79 and Priest MLH. He is better than Wolf, not quite as good as Priest.
I don't know who either of those people are.
Me neither.
Those guys are OG Guitar Hero players, man. Wolf and Priest, those guys were like the GH1 and GH2 kings. Priest and Wolf were at the WSVG tournament back in 2007. And they're both awesome guys.
This definition got 69 dislikes and 18 likes.
Because I had some very angry fanboys back then.
But it's okay. They redeemed him like 4 months later in April.
Yeah, in April 2nd, 2008.
I just love how the person had to put, he's a little better than Wolf, yet not quite as good as Priest.
Yeah, not
I'm
quite.
somewhere in there.
And the April 2nd, 2008 definition is a well-known Guitar Hero expert, well regarded for being the first person to FC full combo Jordan in Guitar Hero 2. Guy number 1, holy fucking Christ, HellAshes just FC Jordan.
What the fuck? He's a beast.
What's funny is this person did this in April. I did Jordan FC in January.
It took him a while to find it.
It took him a while to find out Urban Dictionary is, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh yeah, I mean, back this was the stuff that happened back in the day when Guitar Hero was popular.
Where is Wolf and Priest now?
I have no idea. They probably went on to live real life.
They might make an appearance back because now Clone Heroes bringing everybody out of the woodworks. I swear, like you came back, Danny's back. I don't know what's happening.
Well, it's like the thing is with them, they're like OG, like super OG, like Guitar Hero 1, Score Hero back when it had 1,000 members OG.
Oh, wow.
And now Score Heroes is a place for dead links.
Yes, and of course it's a forum, no photo bucket links work on it.
Tell us a little bit about the VVV days and this nice picture right here.
All right. So the VVV days,
These images.
the first no one who's listening to this is going to know what we're laughing at because it's a picture of me tilting my head at a camera, eyes glimmering.
He's so beautiful.
But so VVV, well, first I got to talk to how my friend introduced me to VVV. My friend Brock BF Ball. I met him at a gaming store in Massachusetts called Game Universe. Like me and a bunch of friends would always travel there because it's in the middle of Massachusetts, like an hour and a half drive for us. And Brock and a couple other people from New Hampshire would travel there as well, and we'd all meet up and play Guitar Hero and do all that crazy stuff. And then Game Universe had a convention in 2008 called Game Unicon, and we were all hanging out there, doing stuff. And then Brock, he's like, oh, I just started getting into this video game clan called VVV, Valor. Crap, I don't remember the fucking V stand for. Valor, Victory.
Vaginas.
Yeah, Vaginas.
Vaginas.
I can't remember. Oh shit, that's pretty bad. Vision, Valor, Victory. That's
Yeah,
it.
Vision, Valor, Victory.
And so I'm like, oh, that sounds pretty cool. I might consider that. And Game Unicom was like in August or September of 2008, and there was an MLG, WCG. There's a WCG tournament for Guitar Hero 5 happening in January in New York City. So we headed down there, and we got to meet the rhythm game manager of VVV at the time, Jason Paradise.
Beautiful man.
So,
Speaking of which, I'm just gonna post the other image of the basically the entire
Terrifying
VVV
Jason?
team. Yeah, Terrifying Jason. And I also have a question for you. Who is the girl that's hugging you in the picture? It seems like there's a girl hugging you.
well, this was not at the one in New York City. This was a different one when I was officially in the clan. But that is VVV Die Hard. I don't remember what she played. She hugged everybody. I was just happened to be the one hugged in that picture.
Jason with short hair, scary.
Okay.
So Jason introduced me to VVV. We started talking more. I got into the clan. I got to meet Lord Jared, who was the lead of VVV, who was a very intimidating man. Like, he is a big man with a powerful voice who used to be in the military as like a nuclear engineer or something.
Wow.
And yeah, VVV was a fun time. We did we were doing a couple tournaments. We recruited a lot of people. Pretty much any Guitar Hero tournament, 90% of it was VVV people, so it's kind of hilarious. It's like, all right, it's VVV Asai versus VVV Jason versus VVV HellAshes versus VVV Smoky Prog. It's like, okay, we kind of dove into DJ Hero and stuff as well, and we also had some rock band stuff. At one point, our rock band group, VVV Adrenaline, which included me, Brock, VVV Tobias, who's my friend from Albany, and VVV Ganon, which is my friend, Ganon Metroid, my friend from Troy.
Oh shit! Wait, Ganon was back in there
Yeah, Ganon was in VVV at one point. He was our bass player.
this whole time. I thought he only charted.
He's a charter, but He's still really good at Rock Band. He was one of the only people I know who liked playing the Strats more than the Les Pauls.
I got to get a Dendo in this. He'll come and rip anybody open.
Yeah.
So now that we had our Rock Band group together called VVV Adrenaline. This was around the time when RBN was coming around. And what we did, and what was Lord Jared's idea, which is really cool, was to review RBN charts.
Oh yeah.
Whether they are fun, whether they are done well, even though there was a play testing, it was more of like a formality of people wanting to buy charts.
Yeah.
And I was super cruel to the Mordecai drum chart because I was drummer for Adrenaline. And I got a lot of people angry at me because I was super brutal to the Mordecai drum chart because it was freaking terrible.
What's so broken about it?
It doesn't work. Technically it's accurate, but it's all over the place. It feels it doesn't feel like it's on beat. The BPM is all over the place. Not like in BT Bam's way of BPM being everywhere, as in like it doesn't match sometimes. The guitar charts was pretty bad too. The guitar chart had like hammer-ons of notes that are in a row. Like, oh, there's 3 blues in a row, but the second 2 are hammer-ons for some reason, and it was a really not very well quality assured chart. But I got people angry at me for that. But that's another story. Doing the reviews was fun. We did like weekly reviews. We did 3 songs every week. Eventually, I kind of broke off of VVV though. I don't know. Like, I was kind of falling off rhythm gaming in general at that point, like 2009, 2010. It wasn't until Pro Guitar that I kind of swung back into things. I noticed that
Speaking of which, VVV HellAshes wins Rock Band 3 Pro Guitar Contest, 2011.
Yeah, you and Brock. What happened there?
Let's see. I gotta think back to that. Again, my friend Tobias is the one who lets me know about every competition I ever do. That's what I've noticed. He's the one who let me know about the Pontiac one. He let me know about the Pro Guitar one. He let me know about the Rock Band 4 Brutal thing, which we'll get into later. So if it's not for him, I probably wouldn't have won any of this stuff.
Also,
this shout out to Tobias.
Yeah, this is an image from the forum. Sorry for interrupting, but that's the image that they used.
So beautiful.
Yeah, that's the picture they took of me when I just gotten out of bed. Granted, it was like 1 p.m., but whatever. So yeah, the Pro Guitar contest. After my friend Tobias showed me about it, at that point I'd been playing Pro Guitar for 2-3 months, maybe. So like I was starting to get into it, starting to get good at it. I wasn't great, but I spent a lot of time. Pretty much what it worked is there was a 5-song set list that Rock Band 3 had, and then your total would get put on this leaderboard online. And one of the songs was Just Like Heaven, which is a really fun song by The Cure on Pro Guitar. And it was a 5-dot song, and I freaking FC'd it on my setlist run. And I'm like, that's my first FC on Pro Guitar. My first FC on Pro Guitar is a 5-dot. Okay.
Yeah, and then you proceeded to win that competition with almost 300 points more than the person in second place.
Yeah, I kind of blew the competition away because of that FC. That FC just exploded my score. So that was that. I won. They waited like 2 months to contact me on when I wanted to fly. Because the way the competition works is they'd fly you out to California, you get a tour of a Fender Guitar Factory, then they fly you to Las Vegas to be in Las Vegas for a day.
Were you even old enough to gamble then?
This was 2011, so I was exactly 21.
There you go.
And Brock was also exactly 21 because me and him are a day apart. Yay, almost same birthday. So fly us out to California. We get out there. Fender never contacted us. I called the travel agency, whatever it was that they did all the flying. She said, oh, you got to contact Fender about the Guitar Factory. And I'm like, I have no contact with them. They're like, they're supposed to contact you. So I'm like, okay, so no Fender Guitar Factory for us. What should we do? What should we do, Brock? And we're like, I don't know. We're in the middle of California. So I'm just texting my girlfriend, and we're like, yeah, we're just kind of chilling in a hotel room because we have nothing to do. And she's like, I'm just putting this in Google Maps for you guys. You guys are like 5 minutes from an amusement park. Okay. So me and Brock went to amusement park.
Yeah, sounds like fun to me. But I would like to take a moment of silence for our lost fallen friend, the Pro Guitar.
Yes, my poor Mustang.
In the
Testing it out.
arms of an angel.
Nah, I was doing Everybody Hurts. That was my...
Oh, everybody
It
hurts.
was beautiful.
Everybody
But
hurts.
I'm noticing something for the first time looking back at all these old VVV pages, which are surprisingly still up. Their Rhythm Gaming logo thing is a screenshot from Frets on Fire.
A screenshot of what?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Really? I
Here,
didn't know
let me
that.
Yeah.
grab the picture real quick so you guys can see.
So if I go to gallery...
It's just at the top of the page, and I'm just like,
Oh, shit, you're right.
why? Why not use Guitar Hero or Rock Band, not shitty
Yeah.
JPEG background Frets on Fire?
I guess they didn't realize what they were doing.
VVV Doomhammer.
Doomhammer was the vice president of EVV until Jared left, and then he took over as the executive.
I just gotta say that's a fucking metal name, but that's just my opinion.
Did Doomhammer ever go into like Doom and first-person shooters?
I have
He
no
became
clue.
Doomfist.
No idea.
Doomfist.
Doomfist. Back on the Pro Guitar story. So after we did the amusement park, we flew out to Vegas. I limited myself to $200. That's it. Not spending any more than $200. That was my budget for the trip. That was gone in like 3 hours. And meanwhile, Brock's over here winning, and so he thought it'd be a good idea to take pictures of my wallet being empty and his wallet being full of wads of cash.
Oh, of course.
Because
There
he
you go.
was winning. Nah, he was joking. But then, right before we leave, he's sitting at a bar playing virtual poker, and he lost $50. And I'm like, ha!
Ha.
Redemption, sort of. And then our flight got canceled. So we flew back from Vegas at like 4 in the morning on a rescheduled flight. They flew us to Georgia, to Atlanta, and then back to New York City, to where we parted ways.
Such a sad day.
Yeah, it was interesting.
It seems that VVV has made a Discord server as well.
Yeah, like a year ago.
Yeah, but I disappeared off VVV in like not 2011. About 2011, 2012. I kind of just disappeared. And from rhythm gaming in general, around 2012 is when I kind of fell off.
What brought you back?
That's a long story, actually. I'm trying to see where to begin on this. Because what I've noticed is in the past is that I would be super into something, and then me being undisciplined and jumping everywhere, I would never like stick with something. And so, like for example, Guitar Hero 2, I was super into that. I got really good at that, and then I just stopped. And then I got into Rock Band 2 drums. I got super into that. Was first person to FC everything in the main set list except for Visions, and then I quit. And then I come back later on. Pro Guitar, got super good at that. Was working on Pro Bass, full set list FC, and then I quit again. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, why can't I ever stick with anything? Anytime I hit any adversity on anything, I always just kind of quit.
I feel that. I still feel that to this day.
And so I think it was around 2012 that when I was kind of not feeling it anymore with VVV and not feeling it anymore with RBN, I went back to school, and then that's when rhythm games kind of disappeared for like 4 years. From like 2012 all the way until like 2015, I really didn't touch rhythm games. I was just in school, like, what am I in school for? I don't know yet. Maybe I'll do music. You know what? I'll go to school for music. Why not? In the meantime, I did do the Rock Band 4 Brutal Mode competition while I was at school, like, and during a break. Got my degree in spring last year of music composition, and then I walk out and I'm like, now what? I got this degree. Now what? Oh, hey, I got invited by my professor to take a trip to Greece over the summer for music composition. That sounds pretty cool. Let's see what I can learn from that. And holy shit, I got like torn to shreds out there. Like, here I am, I'm like 27 years old, I'm doing this thing, and everybody else around me is like 19, 20 years old, and they're writing all this crazy, amazing music. And I'm thinking, like, man, I don't hold a candle to this stuff. I felt like I was completely out of place there, and it was still a great time, but one of the professors who was doing the composition program, like, tore my piece to shreds because we brought a piece to be commissioned and stuff. It was crazy. He's like, you'd never get this performed in an auditorium. It's so poppy and rocky. It's like, we're supposed to be creating contemporary music and all this stuff. And like, all right. Like, that I don't normally get bothered by stuff. I was just like, man, this is a bit of an eye-opener. Either I don't try hard enough or I'm not good enough. Which one is it? So I go back home and I'm thinking, do I want to keep pursuing this? And I'm kind of sitting there, like, lying down. It's like September, and I'm seeing Jason, him blowing up on Twitch, and I'm seeing Asai blow up on Twitch because Asai had a crazy year, and I'm seeing what UCOG's doing, and I'm like, you know, I used to do this shit like 10 years ago. Why don't I do it again? And this time I won't quit. So
Little do you know, after this podcast, he quits.
Yeah, I'm done streaming, guys.
Yeah.
I can't handle it anymore.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm like, all right, this is going to be real this time. I'm going to try my damn hardest, and we're going to see what happens. And so I invested $1,000 in a new computer to stream with. I got this whole setup. I got an umbrella light. I got a new microphone, which I can't use. And I'm like, I got this whole thing. I know exactly what I'm going to do, and we're going to move forward, and we're going to build a community, and it's going to be great. And then we started doing it, and that's where I am now with everything. And it's been really cool, even though it's a small little knit thing, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah, everything starts somewhere. And you, like, I remember when you joined the server, all the other admins were like, oh my god, it's HellAshes, oh my god. I'm like, I'm new to this kind of shit. Who's this person?
I mean, it's so weird that I don't understand why I don't understand why I still get that. Like, it still blows my mind that any time I join a new server, it's like, oh my god, it's him. And I'm like, yeah, it's me. I haven't done anything in like a decade.
It's the legend.
It's kind of the same thing with Daniel.
Yeah, Phenom. Good old Daniel. The one that really blew me away was Jprez is streaming again. I'm like, Jprez? Streaming? Holy shit. That's a name I haven't heard in like 6-7 years.
Oh, you mentioned when you were in college that you kind of felt like, oh, there's all these people who are younger than me doing way better work than I'm doing. Did you kind of feel that way when you kind of got back into streaming? Because, like, I kind of felt that way when Alec turned 21. I think he's only like a couple months older than me. And I was like, holy shit, he's great. I do nothing.
See, I knew Alec when he was like 13.
Yeah. Wow.
Because we met at WCG 2011. Was it 2011 or 2010? May have been I think it was 2010. It was in California. Yeah, it was in California, and that's when I met Asai Schmeggery, who won the thing with his nice wig. He wore a big black wig, and he won the whole thing. Smokey Prog was supposed to be there, but he was sick with the flu. But yeah, that's where I met Asai, and he was 13 years old and hanging out with his parents.
Like a good little boy.
Yeah, like a good little boy. So I'm just chatting with him every now and then online, and I don't see him actually, like, until I see him streaming, like, last year, and I'm like, holy shit, this is the same guy. Like, he was 13 last time I saw him, now he's 20, and it's like, wow, how times have changed. But the age thing never really bothered me too much with streaming, because I see people of all ages streaming. You know, I have friends who are in their 40s streaming. I know people who are in their teens streaming, so... Yeah. Like, the age gap there never really bothered me.
And then there's me that worries about the future and age.
You're a kid. Calm down.
I know.
How old are you?
I'm 14 and I have existential anxiety.
You were 4 years old when I FC Jordan.
I know, right? That's the most insane thing, yeah.
Tell us about that.
The Jordan FC, oh my god, the Jordan FC, goddamn.
Damn.
I don't even know where to begin on that story because
What made you decide to FC it?
Well, let's see. It was like, I think it was May 2007 that I FC'd Hangar 18. And at that point, I was shooting for first overall in Guitar Hero 2. And the way that I did it the way that I had my plan set up was I would compare my scores to the top score on Score Hero, and the song that I was furthest from first on, I would work on because I wanted to stay first. So like the most points possible is the top score. And L0rd was the guy who I was fighting for first place on, and he was a master at squeezing. Like, he freaking got optimal on like everything, and I suck at squeezing. I couldn't do it. I was never good at it. I was never good at paths, none of that stuff. And he was always one step ahead of me, and I'd be like, oh, I got my Hangar 18 FC. He doesn't have one. Oh, shit, he FC'd Hangar 18 with a better path. I'm falling behind. What's one song that has the most points available on it that I can work on? Oh, I have like a score of 420,000 on Jordan. You can get 500,000 on Jordan. Let me work on this guy. So it's like late May, early June, I think. And I was kind of into tapping already. Like I was tapping You Really Got Me solo and stuff like that. And I'm like, Jordan solo B is all hammer-ons. You can tap this. I don't have to use your strum bar. So let me see what I can do on slowest. And then after a couple hours of dicking around, I was FCing solo B on slowest with tapping. And my old tapping technique was literally my index finger in my left hand anchoring and my middle finger tapping everything on my right hand. And it was really bad. And so I go on Score Hero, and I'm like, hey, I'm trying to tap Jordan solo B. We'll see what happens here. Maybe I can get solo B in a real run. I was not going for the FC. I was just going for more points to get first overall in GH2. And then Microgamer, I don't know if you guys know Microgamer, do you?
I don't think I know that name.
Yeah,
No.
All right, so he's the one who made Jordan tapping popular because he put a video on YouTube of him doing it and FCing solo B on full speed. I think it was an FC, and people were like, minds were blown. And I saw his tapping technique, and I'm like, man, the way I'm doing it's really stupid. Let me like take his and kind of combine it with mine, and maybe I can come up with something better. And that's how I have my technique now. And so at that point, he was like, he came to my topic, and he's like, don't FC it. I'm trying to work on it. I mean, I've been working on this for months. I want to be the first one to get it. And this is like June, and I'm like, I'm not going for a Jordan FC. You can have that. And so everybody's like, he's going to go for the FC. And I'm like, I'm not going for the FC, guys. I can't hit solo C. I'm just working on B. You know, I'm just going to FC solo B, and then I'll have a nice, good run, and I'll stay in first place. That's what I want. And then after I FC solo B, I started being able to hit solo C. And then I hit solo C in not in a real run, but in practice, I hit the whole thing. And I'm like, all right, so if I can hit solo C and I can hit solo B, maybe I can FC this song. And this was still like in the summer. So we're talking July, August. And I'd jump off Jordan, jump back on. I got in the customs, you know, I was already charting. I started charting back when FreeTar was big.
Yeah, I saw that in your videos.
Freaking FreeTar.
On FreeTar.
So yeah, I was into that. I jumped into Guitar Hero Rock the 80s and all that stuff, but I had some hilarious runs on Jordan. Like, I think in July, I missed the Blue Note of Freedom after solo C once, because I was so shocked that I got that far. I had a run where I made it through B and C on stream, like, I want to say in August or September, like months before the actual FC, and I just blanked out on solo F and just missed everything. So that was fun. And then the hype just kept building, and the hype just kept building because it took me so long to do it, and I was on and off, and I had -3 run, -2 run, -1 run. And it's like, oh boy, he's going to do it. And then that faithful day in January of 2008, I FC'd B and C together in a real run on stream with like 200 people watching, and then I missed in solo F. And I'm like, fuck, okay, let's try it again. I hit it the very next run, hit B and C again, missed an F. Keeps going. I've FC'd B and C together in a real run like 4 runs in a row, and I missed in solo F 4 runs in a row. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. This has got to be the day. And so I do a 5th run, and I FC B and C together again, and I'm just flabbergasted. Like, the joke and the meme at the time was I said I'm on autopilot because I felt like I was just hitting it every time, and I'm like, I'm on fucking autopilot right now, guys. This is ridiculous. I can't stop hitting B and C together, and I can't hit solo F. And so I finally hit solo F, and I didn't choke the bridge. And then I messed up the star power because I activated too late and I overshot one of the star powers. So the FC score was lower than my previous high. And I'm just like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I gotta play this again. And then the FC happened, and then they had an emergency star power podcast where I explained everything that I just explained here on that podcast. And then a week later I hit it again. It became easy to FC Jordan apparently. After I did, like, everybody else started FCing it. Kev FC'd it, because Kev was a big Score Hero player. A bunch of the big names started FCing Jordan like right after I did. It's like the floodgates opened.
Whatever happened to the guy who told you not to FC it?
I'm not sure what happened to Microgamer, but I remember at one point when I had my -1 run, he posted a picture of a gravestone putting, "Here lies Microgamer's hopes and dreams." And I felt really bad.
Oh. Okay. Also, this year will be the 10-year anniversary of Jordan, correct?
Yes, it already happened.
Oh, it already happened. Well, I remembered something while we were talking about Jordan. The first Through the Fire and Flames FC from
That was in May.
Yeah, in June 3rd.
Yeah.
It's apparently in 2008.
Oh, was it June 3rd? I thought it was in May.
I have the video right here from I Am Chris for Life.
Yeah.
He's still active. He just plays DDR now, but
Well, he was always a DDR player. He just kind of hopped into Guitar Hero because he liked it.
yeah, and now he's a DDR champion apparently.
I used to hate him because I was an asshole 10 years ago. I got super jealous of him. Like, I was the guy who was on top of the world. Everybody wanted to talk about me, and I was the guy. And then he became the guy after he FC'd Through the Fire and Flames, and then I was second fiddle. And I didn't like Guitar Hero 3 like I liked Guitar Hero 2. And so I was jealous of him, and I was a douchebag. I kind of like fell down really hard.
Yeah. I guess 2008 was the most supreme time.
I wanted to bring this up because I saw it and was thinking about it. Your technique page on Score Hero. There's so many places where you have things like "Play with Me" fingering, solo C, and Jordan fingering. I'm like, okay, like looking back at this now, I'm like, what the hell was anybody thinking of back then?
That's just how I talked about how to play sections, was fingering.
And just looking at all this shit and all the work you put into this, like you completely charted out every solo with tiny little dots.
Well, so 2008 was an interesting time for me because I was already sort of losing like the accomplishment part of me. Like I said, I was becoming second fiddle and stuff. And I wanted to stay super active on Score Hero, so I had like 7 topics that I would update every day just to be like super active on Score Hero. I had my Guitar Hero accomplishments, my Rock Band accomplishments. I had a technique fact for Rock Band and a technique fact thread for Guitar Hero. I had a Sonic thread, which we did general discussion. I had my real guitar thread that I updated, and I had my custom songs thread that I updated. That's 7 threads that I was like always updating. And the way the technique thread came about was way back in the day. I always liked coming up with not unique ways, but smart ways to hit sections. Like a classic example was in Gemini in GH2, the bridge had this turn that was a red-blue chord followed by a yellow, followed by a red-blue chord, followed by a green. It was a bitch to hit because it was like like really fast. And everybody was struggling to hit it. And people are like, oh, you can still anchor because that means you can do a red, blue, red, yellow, red, blue. Maybe if you anchor, it'll make it easier. And people are still struggling with it. And my idea was, why not treat the yellow as a green, yellow chord? So that way you're just sliding your hand back and forth. And that would make it a little easier. You just have to strum through because you can't ghost notes in GH2. So you just have to strum the yellow, but you're playing it like a green, yellow. And people were like, whoa, I can hit it now. Thanks you so much. Oh my God, how'd you come up with this? And I'm like, I don't know how I came up with it. I just thought it was a cool idea. And then I started coming up with other ideas on how to hit stuff, and people were PMing me like, how do you hit that? Do you tap that section, or do you play it like this, or do you do that? And I'm like, maybe instead of answering all these people in PMs, I make a thread, and then people can ask me what they want to see how I play stuff, and then I'll just use that as a reference and then put everything in the main page so that they know, where to go for stuff. And so that's just how it kind of became. And then one page turned to 2, turned to 3, turned to 10. Then they're like 20 pages long, and it kind of really got out of hand.
So you basically became a guitar instructor for Guitar Hero.
Essentially, like, yeah, that's probably the best way to put it.
It's pretty impressive because, I mean, just anything on Score Hero is funny because it's so old.
Ray found the Micro Gamers YouTube channel in chat.
Oh, cool.
I also on the Score Hero thread on the Gemini fingering bridge, I found a message from Maze Geek, who used to be active in the Score Hero community.
Wait, where is this?
On your technique for, I believe, I think it's Guitar Hero, but it's on page let me see, on page 11, yeah. And it has a message from Maze Geek 99 PSN, and
right,
that's insane because he's still active.
Yeah, he's still active. He's jumped around so much. Like I remember when he was just a Guitar Hero player, and then he jumped onto Pro Keys, and Pro Keys was his thing. He was damn good at Pro Keys, like, oh my god. And now he plays pro drums, and he's like the greatest pro drummer. So like, yeah. He's super talented, super talented.
He full comboed Sinner's Vengeance after 7 or so years of it being broken. It took him 6 months of him constantly playing that song over and over and over again for him to finally get it once. And then he got it once and then just went on and on and on and finally FC'd it after, I think, 3 days of constant just playing that song. Yeah, but he's, I believe, the only one to have ever taken down that list as well.
Yeah, he's ridiculous. There's a lot of ridiculous players out there. I noticed that in the chat, someone found my old post. Oh no, that's not my old post. I thought someone was bringing up the old post I made way back in the day where I said I couldn't pass Jordan on slowest.
You have a post about that?
Because that was the thing. There is a post about that on Score Hero.
Whoa.
It's in the, where is it? Star Power Facts archive. Go to GH2. I'll bring it up for you. Go to expert. Where are you, Jordan? Someone posted tips, and I said, I actually did everything in your tip before I even read them, the 2-finger sliding and such. Still can't pass this fucking song for my life. I'd probably fail it on slowest. This was in November of 2006. It only took me a year and 3 months.
You got it.
Yeah.
But you did bring up the Rock Band 4 thing a while ago.
Yeah, Brutal Mode Tournament 2015.
The Brutal Mode Tournament was fun. Oh man, so again, my friend Tobias let me know about the Rock Band 4 tournament. At that time, I did not own Rock Band 4. So I went over to his house up in Albany, and the way the competition worked is that you had 10 songs you played on Brutal, and they went on to the harmonics, leaderboards, and they would accumulate your 10 scores, and the top 5, I think it was, combined from Xbox and PS4, got to go to Boston to play in the finals. They had a snafu, apparently, where they didn't include the number 1s from PS4 and Xbox One. So instead of getting rid of the low 2, they just brought all 7 people. So that's why I was 7 instead of 5. I have no idea where I finished. They never let us know where we finished on those. I just know that I was in the top 7.
Is that you in the Rock Band shirt?
Yeah, I'm in the Rock Band shirt. I'm the only one who came with Rock Band affiliate. It was a really interesting tournament because I want to say 4 or 5 of the guys there did not take it seriously at all. Like, they were awesome dudes, but it was like if you've seen the video, like, they're like, man, I'm gonna go for 3rd place, or lol, I've never played Brutal, and I just came here and did this thing, and then they're like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I don't feel like I did really well, and there was a lot of that going on. It was an interesting tournament, but it was a lot of fun. They gave us a tour of the office, the office for harmonics, and we got to play some Amplitude before Amplitude came out.
It's kind of funny because they have such a wide view And whenever somebody's sitting on the couch, the room looks completely empty. It looks like you're just kind of like...
Yeah. It was not... nothing against Josh and Chris. They're great people, and I love hanging out with them at PAX East and stuff, even though they don't work for Harmonix anymore. It was not run very well. Like, you couldn't hear most of the interviews when people were talking. The music was way overblown over the chat. There's no way to zoom in on people if they're sitting on the couch or too far away to see them play. Josh kept clapping into the microphone and clipping the hell out of the stream.
Wow.
Yeah. It was so low key, and I was not expecting to be so low key for Harmonix, but it was still a ton of fun. I loved being there. I loved playing Amplitude. I loved the competition, and I said the people are great. Those guys are awesome people. But the competition itself was, you played three brutal mode songs when you're there, and then the top 3 scores go on. And they kind of hinted that Nevermore was gonna be one of the songs before the competition began, because when you were in the top 5, Chris, she emailed the people who won. She emailed us the next week's DLC, which was Between a Bear and Me's Coma Machine. You got Nevermore and the Opeth song I forgot the name of. Those 3 songs was the DLC that week.
Heir Apparent,
yeah. And she's like, maybe you should practice on these. Wink, wink. And I'm just like, She put wink, wink. Like, she literally wrote wink, wink in the email. And I'm like, I'm going to practice all 3 of these songs on Brutal a lot. And so I practiced all 3 of them a lot. And so when we got there, and then they were like, all right, so you're going to play Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo, whatever the name of the song is by I don't remember that song at all. And then Nevermore, and I'm like, aha, I knew it. I've been practicing this song. I feel confident now. I have a chance to win. And so we did the thing on stream. We picked numbers out of a hat in our order. Of course, I get last, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Of course I'm last. And so Gannon's there. He was the one who went first. I knew Andy. I knew him from years ago. He used to be in VVV as well. It was my first time meeting any of the other 4 guys. I think it was Hunter, Chimpoka Master. You got Reload, Dakota. Wow, I Suck, which is a great username, by the way. And then there was Willie Ray. And they were awesome guys. I mean, everybody there was awesome. We before the competition, we hung out in a hotel room and played Pretend You're Zizzy, which is the online Cards Against Humanity. We're playing that for a while.
Did it ever get cool. Really extreme? Because every time I played, it's like you're like, whoa! Why did somebody write that?
Yeah, okay. It got extreme. It was always my friend actually made that program,
really,
by the way. Yeah, Ajanata.
We should get him on the podcast sometime.
He's not into the rhythm game community anymore. He's kind of faded off and does other things now. He at one point worked at Google. He was a really smart computer guy. Like, Pretend You're Zizzy was something he did in his spare time and just blew up, which was really cool. Trying to think, where was I? Oh yeah, Pretend You're Zizzy. I had the competition. Frickin' I'm going last. I did pretty good on Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo. I did pretty good on the second song I can't remember the name of. And I fucking nailed the Nevermore. I was really happy with my score on Nevermore. And then Josh goes up to me, he's like, so what place do you think you finished, man? And I'm thinking, shit, if I say I came in first, because I feel like I was with how I played, and I'm like, if I say I came in first and I don't, I'm going to look like an asshole. So I'm going to say top 3, maybe second. Like, that was the only thing I could come up with, because I didn't want to feel like a dick and say, I came in first, man. Because, I used to be a dick like 10 years ago. I don't feel like I'm a dick anymore.
You say that a lot.
Well, I used to be one. It's a word that I use a lot. And so they did the thing, and then it's like, hey, Garry won. I'm like, woo, I won. Awesome. full year of Rock Band 4 DLC in 2016, which was really awesome. $1,000, which went right to my dad because I owed him money.
It's a lot.
And and a skinned PS4, which is a custom one-of-a-kind Rock Band 4 skinned PS4, and it is sweet, and I love it. And it was probably my favorite part of the entire thing. I liked it more than the $1,000, to be honest. It's a really cool PS4.
I mean, it's probably worth more than $1,000.
Nah, I wouldn't say that.
For being a one-of-a-kind, maybe.
It's yeah, maybe like 10 years from now when the PS7's out. So yeah, that was the Brutal Mode competition. It was a lot of fun. Getting to meet the community managers at the time was really cool. We chatted about Chroma a little bit because Chroma was an awesome alpha game that Harmonix was working on. It was a music first-person shooter, and it honestly had a similar art style to Overwatch.
Really?
And that is a game I wish they kept working on. It was a music game. Holy shit, we got apparently a side Jason and UCOG.
Yeah.
Podcast guest. That's pretty sweet.
That's fucking amazing.
And yeah, back on topic. Yeah, Chroma was a super fun rhythm game, first-person shooter, and I wish they would have kept working on it because it was really popular. The people who were alpha testing it and stuff were really into it. I was super into it, and then they dropped the project, and then like a year and a half later, Overwatch comes out, and Overwatch blows up, and it's like, Harmonix, you had something that was fucking right there, and then you jumped into Rock Band 4 instead. It's like, what are you doing? I know Rock Band 4 could have been great, but
speaking of which, Rock Band 4 on PC was gonna be a thing one time.
yeah, Rock Band 4 PC with RBN was a thing, but their goal was $1 million, and they didn't even come halfway. It was their team has made some interesting decisions, and it's upsetting because they could have gone. I honestly think Chroma would have blown up. I really do think Chroma would have blown up.
Yeah, and it's pretty weird because looking at it, like, you don't generally see a AAA company do a Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Let alone, I mean,
they weren't AAA anymore.
It wasn't on Kickstarter either. It was on Fig.
Oh yeah, it wasn't on Kickstarter because Alex Rogopoulos is a partial owner of whatchamacallit. Like, he knows a guy who owns what website did they do it on?
Fig.
Yeah, he's like apparently a partial owner of that or something. So that explains that.
Yeah, to be honest, quick question. Would you think if Rock Band 4 did come to PC, would it save Rock Band 4 at all?
If it had RBN, it may have.
I
think RBN, because look at the community Clone Hero has with the charting. Look at the charting community Clone Hero has. If they could have put that skill set into Rock Band 4 RBN, and get paid to do the charts, I think it would have done really well.
Yeah, we would still have Siavash.
Siavash.
And Siavash, yeah, because
Yeah.
one of the complaints was that he was not getting anything for it, and he wasn't getting any.
It's a tough thing. Yeah, tell us about your charting.
I started charting over the summer in 2006 because I saw about Freetar, and I'm like, you could custom songs in Guitar Hero? This sounds interesting.
Wow.
Guitar Hero 2 wasn't even out yet. Guitar Hero 2 was not even out yet. And I was doing some custom songs. I was charting some System of a Down because I loved Hypnotize. I was charting songs that were going to be in GH2 for some reason. I don't know why. And then I want to say it was a year later, I saw Feedback, got into Feedback, and then I became really well known as a charter through Feedback. And Flash 2009, RBN comes out, ELX, an admin on Score Hero, is one of the higher ups on Rhythm Authors, which was our charting company for RBN, and he got me a job there, and then boom, charter and RBN. And wasn't as much fun as I thought it would have been. I didn't think charting for work would have been, work, not getting to pick songs you want to chart.
Yeah, I guess that's true. What was Freetar like?
Freetar, it had a similar interface to the piano roll in Reaper, but there was no BPM mapping, first off. What you did have access to was a one-time, like, you can only do it for the entire song, the amount of space between notes. So, like, you can change the note length by a certain decimal amount, and that's it. So if there's tempo changes in your song, you're fucked.
Interesting.
It didn't have BPM mapping. It didn't have forced hammer-ons and pull-offs. Obviously, it didn't have open notes or tapping. That stuff didn't exist yet. It was very bare bones, but it was the first way people were able to chart, and so like it kind of paved the way towards feedback, which feedback became the norm for years before Reaper started to become the norm because, you know, it's an actual full-fledged MIDI program.
And then I'm assuming EOF came after Reaper?
Yes. And then, of course, there was the Frets on Fire community. I'm not sure how Frets on Fire did everything. I was never a part of the Frets on Fire community.
I mean, for the most part, all the charters who came over from there, like Miscellany and Cygen and Sea of Ash, they all use EOF.
Okay. I'm not sure when EOF came around, but I know that Reaper was a norm in like 2009, and feedback was a norm in like 2007.
Some guy named Shadow Wolf said, "Fuck you, HellAshes, you fucking fucker."
That was because I charted a song for Rhythm Authors called Nihilism, and it was a really crappy song that was like trying really hard to be Hangar 18. Like the second half of the song is riff solo riff solo riff solo like Hangar 18 is, but the guitarists are really bad, and it was super sloppy and super terrible. And I was asked literally point blank, you need to hyper accurately chart this. We want this hyper accurately charted. I'm like, I don't want to, but okay. And so I did. And everybody hated me for that chart because they're like, this song sucks, man. Why'd you chart this? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm getting paid to do it, man. That's what it is. And then I'm like, and no, I think it was a joke because someone like gold start, and I'm like, oh man, I charted so people wouldn't gold star. You're not supposed to gold start. And then he replied, fuck you, HellAshes, you fucking fucker.
Oh, it's
It's
beautiful.
pretty great.
And then that's in my signature. And of course, the other thing in my signature is, holy shit, do you ever stop? Well, he hasn't posted
in
in
a
a month.
month.
By the one and only Maze Geek.
I'm gonna be a little bit off topic here because you were talking about back then on VVV. You were reviewing RBN charts.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to do like reviewing C3 charts. You know, C3 releases are just anyone that uploads their chart, but then now there's two other fucking channels for, you know, showcasing. So I don't know, and I'm also really bad at making videos.
I mean, you don't have to make videos. I mean, I always thought doing a podcast idea for viewing charts would be a smart idea too, but I think a video setup might be better so people can actually see the chart.
Honestly,
Yeah.
like, if I could kind of cut in here a little bit, Cyclops Dragon, after the whole Hop and Sea of Ash incident, Cyclops took to Twitch and he's like, alright, so I'm going to completely just shit all over how bad Hop is at charting. And it became,
Is that where the roasting channel came from?
yep, that's the roast of Hop H2O. It was pretty interesting because I joined in and I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. And then Hop eventually joined in the stream because at first it was just Cyclops, like, because he knows he knows music theory and all that, and he's like, this is terrible, these are all really bad, here's why they are bad. But it's like he wasn't just shitting on the chart being like, okay, well, this is bad and this is bad and this bad. He was going through all of his songs, fixing them and saying why he was fixing them and all that. And then Hop eventually joined, and it changed from it being a this is such bullshit to, hey, here's how we could fix the bullshit and here's how you could become better at what you do. So it was just nice to see. And now he does chart reviews on stream.
Cool.
Nice. Speaking of Sivyesh, remember he made a video called January 15th?
I heard about that, yeah.
It's now January 15th. What's happening? What's gonna happen there?
I honestly don't know.
Because I guess no one has any access to him, right? No one does.
I mean, I have access to him, I just don't really talk to him because I thought he wanted some space.
Yeah. I'm kind of interested in what it is, though.
We'll see.
It's anti-hero.
Probably. No, I think that was February.
No. One thing I have learned being in many communities is that there's always drama. It doesn't matter what the community is. It doesn't matter who's in that community. There is always fucking drama. I've been involved in Sonic communities, Guitar Hero communities, Clone Hero, roller coaster communities, all this shit.
Roller Coaster Tycoon?
No, like actual roller coasters. Like I'm a huge roller coaster buff.
Oh, interesting.
I thought you were talking about Roller Coaster
okay.
Tycoon.
Well, that's something we haven't heard of
Yeah,
before.
that's interesting.
cool. I was gonna bring
Yeah.
up that you're a part of the Sonic community. Like,
Yeah, I noticed that. I noticed that was a podcast idea.
most people know here that I'm very fucking, what's the word, bias about communities. One thing that, like, most communities are completely ruined by communities, but I'm gonna be honest here, Sonic is not as bad as other communities I've seen.
No, the Sonic
Well,
community is
because-
actually really
Depends
good.
on where you go. It depends on where you go.
I'm guessing it's most of the stuff of Sonic is sometimes intentional, but we don't talk about the other ones that are.
The Sonic thing's interesting because that way I can talk about my life before Guitar Hero, because I want to say the Sonic thing began way back. Like, honestly, I'm trying to remember if I go back as far back as I can actually remember about my life, I can remember being 3 or 4 years old, and the first time I remember ever playing a video game was Mario 3 on like the regular NES. Like that's as far back as I can actually physically remember, but I always remember playing the Genesis games all the fucking time.
Wow.
And even back then, like, I don't think I had a connection to the Sonic stuff. It wasn't really until like Sonic Adventure and when Sonic X came out in 2003, you know, Sonic Adventure games was like 99, 2000. Like the characters finally had like real personalities as real they are. You know, Sonic's cool. Like that's it. That's his personality.
I'm way past cool.
And
Well, that cool.
and I kind of like grew an attachment to Tails a little bit because he was like the little brother. And
Yeah.
I was always the little brother in my family. So that was the thing. And then Sonic X came out, and then, you know, that show Tails had a big thing. Like he was like the main story arc in the last season, and I was like, oh, this is cool. You know, this is really cool. I'm kind of getting into the Sonic stuff a bit. And then in 2004, I came across a Sonic Sprite comic online. And I still remember it because I still have it bookmarked. Hang on a sec. Here it is. Final Fantasy Sonic.
Final Fantasy Sonic.
That sounds amazing. So is your picture a mashup of two characters?
No, it's not. I'm gonna get into that, but I'm just going through the whole story because I like to just play things out. So
Oh my god.
I found. Did you find it?
No.
Okay, I was gonna say this was 2004. So, you know, think about it. It's 2004.
I was born in 2004, so.
Oh my god. I was 14 in 2004. So I'm reading this comic and like, Sprite comics, wait, people can do their own Sonic stuff? And then I found Sonic fan fiction, and then I'm kind of getting into stuff.
no.
I'm the edgy teenager. I'm 14, 15 years old. I'm getting into all this stuff. And then I come across Sonic communities, and I actually came across a website called fireball20xl.com or sciguy.com, and this guy had a ton of like Sonic comics, and he makes his own Sprite comics, and he did vlogs and all this stuff. The site doesn't exist anymore because the guy running it, he's a shitty person, and he deleted himself off the internet because he's a shitty person. I won't get into that.
Because he's an egotistical person like me.
No, it wasn't that.
Oh.
Long story short, yeah, sexual harassment charges. But that's another
Fucking
story.
hell.
That's another
Holy
story.
shit.
Another story for another day. Point is, that website had tons of Sonic stuff, and I was like getting super into the Sonic comics. I started drawing Sprite comics. I started getting into Sprite art. I used to write fan fiction, and no, it doesn't exist anymore.
Damn.
I wanted to see your edgy teenage.
Yeah, my edgy teenage years.
I'm sick of that. I don't know what to think
I
about
was
it.
your age when I was into this shit.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I joined some Sonic forums, and then I was getting into Sonic sprite art, and I was getting good at sprite art. And I'm like, sprite art's something I really want to do. I'm like 14, 15 years old, you know, sprite art's something I want to do. And so I wanted to make my own original character back when it was a thing you did without being made fun of. You know, back then, my original character was not a meme. You know, it's something that they did, everybody did. And so I knew what I was doing in old MS Paint, and then I took a tail sprite art from Sonic Advance, and then I made his fur yellow. I made his fur red. It was already yellow. And I made his tails yellow. And then I'm like, this looks like a boring recolor. want a boring recolor. This is stupid. I know how to do sprite art. Let me draw clothes on him. And so I drew the jacket and the shirt and the pants and the shoes, and it has been my avatar since 2004.
Jesus Christ.
And so I joined other forums. Like I said, I used to do in roller coaster forums, and then I joined the Guitar Hero forums, and I used this avatar for every forum I was on. I was super into forums back then. Like the original Guitar Hero forums was like before Score Hero. They had a Guitar Hero game forum, which I had the avatar. I found out about Score Hero through that forum, joined Score Hero, used the avatar. And because I'm on forums that are not Sonic related and I have a Sonic, original character icon, people are like, you're the Sonic guy.
Sonic guy.
And I'm the Sonic guy. It's like, oh yeah, he's the Sonic guy. He's the furry and ha ha ha. And I kind of ran with it. Like, I never considered myself the Sonic guy. Like, I like the Sonic community stuff. I was hanging out in Sonic communities, but there were other people who were way more into this shit than I am. I mean, the Sonic community is how I learned what furries were.
Oh,
Please tell me you
boy.
didn't make a fursuit.
Please tell me.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay,
No.
I still have hope.
I learned
I still
about
have
them. I am not technical.
Technically.
Whatever the hell your
Technically,
definition of a furry is, whatever your definition is, I
anything-
don't fall into the hardcore categories.
Anything that has a profile picture of a furry.
I mean, technically, it's an anthropomorphic being. So, no. But point is, on the Sonic forums, I was very mild in the Sonic
you-
fandom compared
Good.
to
Were
the
you
other
miles
people.
mild?
Good.
But when
Good.
yeah, I was mild. But
Good.
I go on to other websites that are not Sonic centric, and I become the Sonic guy, and then I ran with it. And then it's like, okay, I'm going to make a Sonic general forum on Score Hero, and then I'm going to talk about Sonic games, and then I started going to conventions. And one thing I learned at conventions is there's not a lot of Sonic stuff. It kind of blew my mind a little bit. I'm going to conventions, and I'm like, Mario's everywhere. Pokemon's everywhere. The game of the year that people are playing is everywhere.
Where's Sonic?
But I'm like, where's the Sonic stuff? Like, I thought Sonic fandoms were super hardcore. And it's like, it was super hard to find stuff. And I'm like, I'm running around, going through PAX East, I'm going through MagFest, Con Bravo, or cons. I go to 3 cons a year. Those are the three cons I go to every year. And it's hard to find Sonic stuff. And when I do find it, I tend to buy it. And I kind of made it a thing of mine that every convention I go to, I kind of sift around and look for the Sonic stuff and see what I want to get. And, like, I just did MagFest, and people who were in my stream saw I bought, the pixel art, and I got 3 posters, and I got the tiny posters, and all this really cool stuff.
Coming off your point, it seems like there's not a lot of Sonic communities that are more open. I think that kind of stems from how the people who are outside of the Sonic communities just despise Sonic and the games. And I like Sonic. I would
like
say
Sonic,
I'm
yeah.
probably part of the community. I know that most of the games are really not that good, but Sonic Adventure
Yeah.
2 is one of my favorite games of all time.
I find that very interesting because I completely disagree that Sonic games aren't good, and I try to say that from an unbiased point of view. I actually do like my own little reviews of Sonic games, and I keep a backlog of what I rate everything. I might bring that up real quick if you wanna talk while I look for it.
Fucking Sonic 2 soundtrack on vinyl is something that's been in the back of my mind
Adventure 2?
for the past week. Sonic Adventure 2 is a soundtrack on vinyl.
Yeah, because I think that...
It's $50, but I
mean,
want it to be
I
honest.
think that Sonic games are, like, I think they're good, but I know there are games like Sonic 06, and the way Adventures looked with the mouth graphics and all that, there's a lot of people who are like, oh, these games are terrible. I'm like, okay, some people may say they look bad, some people say they may play bad. I think they're enjoyable and they're fun to play no matter what the game is.
Yeah, so I brought up. I've been reviewing Sonic games like myself, just for my own personal and entertainment since 06 came out, and I'm gonna go through my list and show you what I reviewed all these games. 06, I gave a 3 out of 10. Unleashed got a
Reasonable.
7 out of 10. Unleashed on the
That's
PS2 got a 4. Chronicles Dark Brotherhood I gave a 7. Yeah, Sonic Colors I gave a 7. Sonic 4 I gave a 5. Generations I gave a 9. Sonic Lost Worlds I gave a 5. Rise of Lyric I gave a 2. Mania gets a 10, and Forces I gave a 5. Like, I'm just going through the main games. I have a bunch of other reviews of all the spin-offs and shit, but like they jump around, but they're 7s and 8s are there. Like, for example, my Generations is great, Colors is good, Unleashed is a good game.
As long as you're not playing the Wii one.
Yeah, the Wii PS2 one is bad, which the Game Grumps played that one, which made me sad. I wish they played the other one. But yeah, like, I'm always arguing people on the internet that, like, Sonic games aren't just bad. They are just misdirected and misled and taken down the wrong way. And there's some good ones and some bad ones, and Sega's always all over the place, and they don't know where they want to go with stuff. When they finally have something that works, they change it up for some reason. And it's like Sonic Generations is generally considered a great game. Unleashed is considered a good game. I mean, it's getting a cult following now because, people used to shit on it because it came after 06. Mania is...
I liked Unleashed.
It's probably the best story that Sonic's had was Unleashed. Like, it's a cohesive, engaging story for once. It's not, Pontac is the guy who does the stories now. Oh my god, it's like 2-year-olds writing stories.
It's just, like, thinking about Sonic Team, it reminds me of that old JonTron video he uploaded, where they're all British and they're all, like, covered in cocaine.
Yeah. They don't know what they want to do, and when they find something that works, they don't stick with it, and it angers me.
That's why there's been so much of the upcoming of, like, fans creating games for the actual companies.
That's where Sonic Mania came in, and Sonic Mania is an amazing game, but it makes people say, see, 3D Sonic doesn't work. 3D Sonic is terrible. Look at these terrible games, for example. These games suck. And I'm thinking, it's like, there are bad ones there, but there are good ones, and you're just ignoring the good games because you want to follow the bandwagon. Like, for example, IGN is a company that seems to just hate Sonic games because it's the thing to do. It's the bandwagon to fall on. But they shocked me. They gave Forces a higher review than I did, which shocked me.
Really?
I gave Forces a 5 because I thought the level design was incredibly lacking, and the game itself did not go anywhere. It was not. I did not have fun with it. The only part that was fun was the character creator, the OC creator. It was amazing. It was hilarious. But the story was fine, because I'm used to Sonic games having bad stories, but I don't care about the story. Like, when I play a Mario game, Peach captured, okay, let's play the game, no story needed. Like, it's the same thing with Sonic games for me.
Exactly.
As long as the story is not getting in my face and messing with me. That's when 06 had that issue where the story kind of just was too in your face. Other than that...
And there was a girl kissing Sonic, and that was weird.
Having bestiality and necrophilia at the same time. Yeah. So yeah, I think Sonic games get a bad rap when they don't deserve it.
Probably because the community is also really bad sometimes.
It depends where you're at. I know some really upsetting people, and I know some great people from the community. I actually have a lot of good friends from the Sonic community now.
I've seen a lot of bad things, so I'm really biased. I've seen a lot of shit from a lot of communities, and especially Sonic. Don't get me wrong, but I know it's less hostile and less wrong. I guess maybe because I expected. I don't know.
Like, here are other communities that I'm not a part of, but I love the thing that their community's for. I love Rick and Morty. That community is toxic, but I still love the show.
Yeah,
I
same here.
am a huge fan of... What was it? Shit, I had it in my head, and I lost it. What am I a fan of that has a shitty community? Steven Universe. I love Steven Universe, has a shitty community, but I still love the show. I don't hate the actual source material because of the community, which I see people do for the Sonic games.
Yeah, I think Undertale is a good game.
Yeah, Undertale.
I
Same
like
thing.
the story a lot. I think it's a really great story. I think it's probably one of the worst communities of all time.
I remember when they broke the Game Facts poll because they were like mass voting for it, and Undertale was beating games like Ocarina of Time, Super Mario World, and stuff like in the voting because they were so pissed off it didn't win Indie Game of the Year. Rocket League did.
Rocket League's still enjoyable, I will say, but I think that Undertale was a fantastic project made by
Toby Fox. Which, by the way, Toby Fox is a fantastic person. He made like the Halloween fan game from what was it? It was Earthbound. He made an Earthbound Halloween, which is really fucking good from what I've heard.
So is there anything else we need to talk about in this episode that we haven't covered yet?
Depression.
I mean, there are
Yeah.
moments that happens. You know, like I said, I was kind of reaching out for where I was going in life last year a little bit before I started streaming. I was having a not existential crisis, but having interesting thoughts of, all right, I'm heading towards 30. What is the point? What am I doing now? What's the next chapter? Because I always joke around with people all the time about when I turned 20, I stayed 20. And it feels that way. Like, my life hasn't changed too much since I was 20. And I'm 27 going on 28 in February. So
I feel like that works for a lot of the people in what our community is now, an internet-based community where most of the time it's like you and George and Jason, all you guys just behind a camera having fun. And it became more personal, and you could be yourself instead of like going to a job and sitting behind a desk and having to be super professional and being like, oh, well, I got to get these papers done by Tuesday and all this shit. And it's like, no, I'm just going to stand here and play on a plastic guitar for 4 hours.
yeah. I mean, that's where the idea of Clone Hero and Chill came from for me, because for years I was just super hyper intense about everything, and everything was about competition and being the first to full combo stuff. And then I've kind of set back, haven't played a rhythm game in 4 to 5 years. I'm not sure what I want to do in life. And I see the streaming thing, and I see Jason doing it, enjoying himself, and Asai and stuff, and I'm like, I want to chill back, enjoy myself, and have fun doing it, and see what happens, and see what the community builds to. Because right now I'm still working a 40-hour job, and I'm streaming roughly 20 hours a week, so that's 60 hours dedicated to streaming, and that's not considering the behind-the-scenes stuff. And I still want to get back into charting, because I'm not charting as much as I want to, and it's like, and everything is crazy and super crazy, and then I turn the camera on, and then boom, it's just enjoy myself and stream.
Yeah, and that's something I can understand, because I dabbled in streaming for a little bit. I dabbled in charting. I'm basically a full-time... I basically work almost... I don't know, I can't even gauge the amount of hours I do per week on Clone Hero. I'm just always there. It's what I do for fun. And just being able to kind of like drop in each different type of community and seeing what it's like. And streaming is really, it's just, you're freaking out, you're getting ready, and then once you start streaming, it's immediately, okay, this is what I'm doing for the next few hours. Let's go.
Yeah.
It's nice.
It's kind of interesting because I've never been in a community that is this enjoyable and fun to be in, and that is wholesome and enjoys each other mostly.
Yeah, I've been a part of communities that are the back and forth. I've had communities that are very toxic. I've had communities that are very tunnel visioned and stay inside their bubble. And you get communities like this, which, you know, they branch out, and it's a fun community. Like, I've been through all this shit before, and it's a great community. I can safely say that.
Yeah, and it's just nice to see, because for me, I was always part of smaller communities for the most part. I was like moderators for smaller streamers, and I took care of people because I just like making people enjoy what they do more. So that's why I've been working on like the chart preview or showcase for the smaller charters and the spreadsheet and all that. And I've never really found a community or something that I'm so passionate about where I will willingly spend 30, 40 hours on one singular song pack and then be like, I did it. Now, not really a lot of people are going to look at it, but it's done, and here, have it.
Mm-hmm.
It just feels nice.
Also, if you want to know the 100% reason why I started streaming again, you can completely thank Jason for it, because he's the man who got me inspired to do it again. Just throwing it out there, man. Thank you so much, Jason, man.
But he also got you inspired back then, too.
Well, it's funny enough, because I think he used to look like up to me back in the day, and now it's the other way around. And now I'm the small guy looking up at him, and it's like, I want to do that. I want to be like him. You know, it's sort of like he's become my role model, and I kind of model my stream after him. Anyway, I do have one thing I do want to say for anybody who wants to stream, anybody listening who wants to do streaming and is nervous about it. Great lesson. Do not compare yourself to others. Do not think that what they're doing is better than what you're doing, and they're going to do it better than you, because I've had those thoughts before. Like, I'm sitting here playing, I'm nowhere near as good as Asai. I don't know how he hits the shit he does. I don't know how Yukog hits the stuff he hits. I don't know how Randy does. Randy's ridiculous. I don't have the same charisma that Jason has, but that doesn't mean I'm just not going to stream, or I'm not going to be good at it, or I'm not going to be able to be a partner, because 2018, my goal by the end of the year is to be a partner on Twitch and to have a 75 to 100 person, concurrent viewership. Just because I'm comparing myself to someone else and it makes me feel inferior doesn't mean you can't do it.
I've streamed before on YouTube. I remember one time I was doing basically I was gonna play every single Dragon Force song, because at the time, at this time, 2017 was the time I got into Guitar Hero. So this was Guitar Hero 3 before Clone Hero was popular, and I remember I just had this idea. I didn't have a guitar, so I was playing forced tap notes on a keyboard, and I remember on the third part, because I was doing it in parts, in 2 hours parts. On the third part, I had 10 people watching me, and it was like the craziest thing to think of, that 10 people were watching me. It doesn't matter how many amount of people watch you or see your videos or see what you do. It doesn't fucking matter what viewer count it is. When it matters, but if you enjoy it or not. And in other words, what I'm saying, just fucking do it. There's nothing against you for doing it. Just do it. There's nothing that can stop you from doing that.
Exactly. And I can say, try not to get too into something, like kind of from the other direction. Yeah. Don't get into it, get somewhere, and then stop. Because there will be people who look up to you, because it doesn't matter how small you are, there's always going to be somebody who's like, oh, I want to do that too. I got affiliated on Twitch, and then started working full-time on what I do with the Clone Hero server, and basically it's like, I don't have time to stream anymore. And I have not streamed since I got affiliated, streamed once as an affiliate, and then never again. And I feel bad because streaming made me become friends with Sea of Ash. I became friends with Miscellany from it, because they joined in to my stream, and then it would just be like me and them, because I didn't really have that many viewers, but it didn't really matter, because we'd have a nice conversation talking back and forth. And I suck at Guitar Hero. I'm over here missing notes left and right. It doesn't matter, because I'm sitting here having a conversation with people who I can consider friends.
You can still go back. I mean, you don't have to stream 20 hours. You don't have to stream full time. If your only allocated time is you can only stream once every Saturday, stream once every Saturday. Start somewhere, and it will make you feel better about yourself just doing it that one time. Like, I set this time aside and I did it.
After the part 3 stream of the Dragon Force thing, I remember making promises to the 10 viewers that I would do the tutorial of how I set up my Guitar Hero, and I would stream the next day. I didn't do either. I didn't do that for a month, and after months, I decided to do a part 4, and then it got blocked. And then after that, seriously, all the time, I'm a perfectionist, so that's why I stopped streaming, because I remember all these little things that completely messed with me. And it was, that I wasn't really good at looking at the chat while playing my game. I mumbled a lot, and I couldn't had conversations. I wasn't really good at that, so that's why I stopped streaming, and I just made videos.
It's all growing pains. I jumped into the streaming thing not knowing how to do anything on Twitch, and I'm kind of figuring things up along the way, and I'm learning more on the go, and I'm not big on Twitch, like, at all. I've got a concurrent viewership of 8 to 10 people. Occasionally I'll bump up to 15, but...
You got Tails?
Yeah, and Little Tails is the greatest human being of all time. Like, he's in every single one of my streams, and he's there not just for a minute. He's there for, like, the entire stream, and he's not just there, he's chatting, and he's not just chatting, he's talking to new people. He's loving people who are subscribing and loving people who are following. Like, he is the guy, man. He puts more effort into my stream than I do, and I'm giving him the biggest shout out in the world for that. because he is helping me out so much. And I've known him through the Sonic community, so it's really cool that kind of collided like that. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Me and him are admins on a Tales forum, and we've known each other for a few years, and it's really cool that he is spending all this time on the stream with me. And even though I have this tiny following, back in the day, I took my following for granted, and I didn't really invest into the people and congratulate them for being there and thank them. And I'm kind of doubling down on that nowadays, where even just one person watching me is super awesome, and any of the donations and the follow stuff is just bonus. The fact that people are willing to spend their time and energy just to watch me play and stream blows my mind nowadays, now that I'm aware of the actual people. It's not just a number, it's not just a viewer, it's actual people.
I personally, I want to thank I want to thank the CH community in general. After joining the community back in August 2017, I think, never felt happier. I feel like I'm actually a part of something rather than just that one guy that sits in the back and sees the view. I actually feel like I feel better about myself in general. So I'm just gonna say thank you to the CH community. Thanks to all the people and not the people and off topic. Those guys are cancers.
Oh boy.
I mean, I know I want I'll say thank you to Ultimate Dylan and all those people and the helpers and everyone. It's a fucking great community that I'm glad I'm a part of.
I could basically say the same thing, thanks to everybody, but at the same time, I don't want anybody in the community to feel like a number. I mean, I know we're currently, at the time of recording, on January 15th, that we're over 24,000 members. We hit 24,000 last night at some point. And I don't want anybody to feel like they're a number. I have so much stuff out there, I've been working on the charter showcases, as I've said a few times. I want people to know that if they are really interested in making songs, they can just kind of shoot them to me, and I'll throw them together and get them run by some of the bigger charter guys, and put together some showcases just to show off how everybody does. There's streamer stuff I've got set up, and so now everybody who is affiliated on Twitch and who asks us for the streamer role, they can get the Now Live bot posting for them. Always on the lookout for people who are helpful and want to generally help other people instead of just kind of popping in, being like, I'm going to download the game and not read the facts, then ask 37,000 questions and DM all the people, how do I do this? It's irritating, but at the same time, the good outweighs the bad.
Oh, yeah.
So much when it comes to this community.
And at least they actually download the game rather than just to be there just for no reason. They actually are at least somehow a part of the community and giving recognition of a game that is not getting any money whatsoever and is just a project. We used to be a side project. Now, literally, probably the fastest growing community. Well, not fastest, you know what I mean, but fastest growing Discord community.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah, we started in March, and now we're at 24,000.
I didn't join in until August, September, and even then, September to now has been a huge difference.
Yeah, because if I can remember, I joined in August 23rd, I think, and I joined in the 1000s. I was viewer number 1000 and something, or member number, and I remember for 9,000, I made a bunch of Photoshop edits to everybody who had a profile picture and made them all Super Saiyan, because we were like, oh, it's over 9,000, haha. And I think that was in the beginning of October. Beginning to mid-October was... No, it had to have been November, because I was at Home Depot, and I was using money my dad had got me given me for Christmas, or my birthday, to buy tools, because I don't know why. I was just like, I'm going to buy tools, because I'm an adult now. Woo. But, yeah, just to think November to now, we jumped from 9,000 to 24. It's impressive. And got nobody to thank but the streamers.
There is somebody that I'm subscribed to on YouTube who used to do React videos and stuff, and then he disappeared. He came back, and all he does is play Clone Hero memes now, and I'm like, this guy had nothing. He's terrible at the game, and it's hilarious to watch him play and be terrible. He had nothing to do with this community. He's got like a following. I think he's got like 40,000 or 50,000 subs or something, and he's playing Clone Hero. And I'm like, huh. It's really growing. It's like growing out to all these people now. I mean, Asai being featured in a PewDiePie video playing Clone Hero, for example.
Yeah.
Was he really?
Yeah.
I think I missed that one.
Yeah.
He played
he
the
was.
fun
Yeah, I
meme
saw on
chart where it
Twitter.
starts doing the frickin' grapefruit.
Oh,
Yeah.
the grapefruit.
Yeah, the grapefruit.
But yeah, the streamers have really helped grow, because I found Clone Hero through UCOG. George was streaming it one day, because I got into Guitar Hero 3 on PC like in early August, and then like 2 weeks after spending hours and hours and hours setting up all my stuff, I saw Clone Hero, and I'm like, and I was like, it's just a fan game, and it doesn't matter. Then George was playing, I'm like, this is the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
I got into Clone Hero through Jason because I saw him playing it, and he's like swearing by it. He's like, Guitar Hero PC has nothing on this, Phase Shift has nothing on this, and I'm like, how much better could it be? It's just a freaking custom Guitar Hero game. I never really played those on PC, and I started playing it, and I'm like, oh, I like this engine. The tap notes work. Oh, you can throw songs in and be updated in like 10 seconds. I'm liking this. And then the streaming thing came out, and I'm like, this is going to be a great game to stream because you can have such a giant set list, and I see the charting community behind it. And boom, here we are. Now we got a podcast.
What about when it comes to Twitch streams and getting people hosting and all that?
I think it was the last stream I did before I went to MagFest. I'm like, I have a cold. I really don't want to stream, but I'm going to do it anyway because I don't want to let people down. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to do this stream. And then I'm streaming from like 7 o'clock to 10 p.m. and I have like 7 or 8 people. And I'm like, this is great. We got a little thing going. And then Jason raids me. And I was planning on stopping around 11 o'clock. And then Jason raids me, and I just got shot 400 people my way. And I'm in the middle of a 30-minute Buckethead shit show because someone requested it. And I'm like, oh shit, this is crazy. And then I'm playing, I've got all these people, and my request system is shit. So I have like 300 songs in my request system, and I'm like, this is hilarious, la la la. And then Asai raids me at like 10 minutes later. And I'm like, what is going on? So we're playing till like 1, 2 in the morning, and I have work at 5 in the morning the next day, and I didn't care because it became a super awesome experience. So and then Randy didn't raid me, but Randy hosted me shortly after that. And it's like, why'd this all happen at the same time? My stream was not prepared for that because my setup right now is like good for a small crowd, not 500 people plus 200 people plus 200 people.
So you shot up to like 1,000 viewers in the span of like 10 minutes.
I mean, people dropped off the raid real quick, so like I'm looking at it, and it was like 10, 10, 10, 300, 250, 200, 400, 350, 400. Like it popped up 3 times for each time they did the thing. And I'm like, wow, this is super cool. And it just made me realize I need to get JokeBot.
I mean, I guess my journey into this, so I started as a Rock Band person back in 2016 with the release of Rock Band 4. That's the first time I ever played a rhythm game, was never into any other rhythm game. I got Rock Band 4, the drum set and everything. I immediately took a liking to the drums and proceeded to play through the Fire and the Flames. It went horrible. But anyway, so I decided to talk with you. I went on UCOG stream about later that year. And I went through, it was for the Maze Geek as well, but Maze Geek and UCOG. And from there I was in UCOG's community for about 3-4 months. And then it basically went into where I heard of Clone Hero. I joined Clone Hero, and then I decided, hey, I'd like to work on the C3 drive, and I worked on that. I got the attention of Zero, who thought my work was quite neat, I guess, and we decided to make, I guess, a thing of all of C3, and that only took us a while, and then that made me, I guess, like, it made us all popular and stuff. Don't know where I was going with that, but basically that's how I was.
Coming off of that, Google Drive is terrible.
Oh my god.
Because we found out midway through our first try at converting that I was over there. I'm like uploading stuff to his drive. I'm like, cool.
And it was taking up his storage.
Probably 30 pages in, and then I'm like, why am I at 15 used up gigs of my 15 gigs of Google Drive? I'm like, I don't understand. I'm putting these on Ray's drive. What is happening here? No, apparently that's not how it works. You're putting it on your drive, linking it on their drive, but you can't access it on your own.
And then from there, when you unzip stuff, if you put too much stuff at once, it does not grab everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to use stuff like Panther has showed up, the Clone R thing. It works perfectly.
I need to figure out how to use that because I've been so frustrated trying to download all the C3 conversions, but I can't. Because even if I go by a single letter or by a single band, I'm only getting bits and pieces of each thing. Like, I'll just get the album art, or I'll just get the song, or I'll just get the chart. And it's like, it's not working, and I can't download all the songs, and it angers me. I need to... Is that thing hard to use, the Clone R?
From what I hear, it's kind of like the web version of JDownloader. You throw in a link, you're like, I want to download all this stuff, and I think it basically copies it to some other location, and then it lets you download it. So you're not downloading it straight from Google Drive, which kind of caps it at about 3 gigs, or there's like maybe a folder limit, and it's like, I just can't zip up the rest of this. Here, take what I could.
Okay. Since we're kind of driving off topic, are we like finishing up the stream now? Yeah, if we sit.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know if there's any other questions that people want to ask me. Anything doesn't have to be Clone Hero related.
Well, I kind of want to talk about something that you mentioned on stream once before. You were talking about thinking of maybe like a year down the line or whatever, music theory and all that in stream. Oh, and the group chart.
Yeah, so the idea that I've actually had for a while, but would take a lot of planning and equipment and everything, is to have a community-created song that I would record, chart, and play, and, give out to people to play. And it's just a brainstorming idea, but what I would like to do is, I don't know how I'd set it up, maybe be a database or something, but people give their input on how they want the song to be. What genre, what is it, instruments and all this, and how it's played and what key and all that stuff. I don't know how I'm going to do that yet. That's just planning. Like I said, this is like a 2019, maybe later thing. But they would tell me what to do. I would write it, record it, chart it, and then give the chart out to people and also play it on stream. That would be the idea. Just a completely community-created song that ends up being...
You could also, even coming off that point, be like, people could send you music they've made themselves and find a way to remix it all together. Because you have the knowledge of somebody who understands music theory and the way that music works and feels. Something I myself have no idea. Hell, I took me forever to learn how to tempo map a single chart. I like the idea, and it's kind of like coming off of that just a little bit for future guests. Use this as a soapbox. Talk about what you want. Talk about projects. Anything.
I see what you're talking about. Like, so people send stuff they've already created, and I mush it together as one song and chart.
Yeah, in something that fits basic music theory style and makes it not just sound like a bunch of people playing a bunch of different things all at once.
Yeah, that's an interesting idea. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I do want to use this freaking music degree somehow.
I got it. I don't know what to do with it now.
I got this thing that lets me know that I know how to write music and I know how music theory works and I could explain it to people, but I can't use it.
Use Twitch as a teaching resource. It's something my professors do. It's something that one of my professors actually is doing research in right now, and that I honestly wouldn't mind hopping in a stream and you'd be like, okay, well, here's how this bit of music works. Here's how to properly use a forte at this moment and how to build tension leading off of just this.
So, like, it'd be interesting doing it on stream because I'm not sure how I would approach it, because I'd either have to do analysis on songs, because if I were to do like an actual class thing, music theory is kind of like math. You got to learn the basics, then you build off of the basics. So if I were to stream it and people are missing the basic shit, and I were to go into more advanced stuff, they probably wouldn't figure it out. I think a video on YouTube in terms of that would work better. Like, because basics is a freaking course in and of itself. A whole semester is attributed to understanding what the notes are, how the notes work, what are intervals, what are chords, what are modes, what are the words, what is the wording, like what's a forte mean, what's pianissimo mean, what are non-harmonic tones, what are this, like that stuff is all in a course in of itself. It's just learning the material. So I feel like doing an analysis would work better in a stream format where I like, oh, see this BT Bam song and they did this transition. Here's what they did and how they created it and how it works together. Like that would be really
like
cool.
having an intro series like, hey, here's stuff I might talk about on stream. Familiarize yourself with this video, and then if I'm ever talking about
like
whatever on stream, do it.
Because, like, for example, I'll be like, oh, see how they did this transition by using a secondary dominant. What's a secondary dominant, you may ask? And then I'll be like, blah, 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 secondary dominant. Like, that would be a cool idea.
Yeah.
I might consider doing that. That'd be cool.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, I know myself thinking about it, it's like I'm in school to be a game designer. There's no way in shit I'm going to be using my degree when I get out. But, yeah, I want to use my degree somehow.
Make your own clone hero with blackjack and hookers. You know what? Forget the clone hero.
Just blackjack and hookers.
No, advertise it to children and nothing will happen wrong. Nothing. Absolutely nothing, because it's the internet.
Clone Hero 2 did not steal.
Clone Hero 2, it's definitely Clone
Electric
Hero.
Boogaloo.
Open rhythm.
Clone Hero 2 Electric Boogaloo. There's blackjack and hookers.
And, well, I mean,
Asterix may not contain Clone Hero.
may not contain
May not
drums.
contain guitar. It's, I mean, you definitely stroke, but it's not the guitar.
Oh.
Oh, whoa.
Oh.
This is bringing me back to old Guitar Hero innuendos. One of my favorites is, wow, she got up to the orange fret.
Oh yeah, you know the also the fingering jokes. That was a thing.
Yeah.
That's still my favorite. Is she made it up to the orange fret and just leave it at
Yes.
that.
Oh my god.
It's bad.
It reminds me
That was
of
joke
all the
back in day, man.
innuendos I would make in golf with friends. To be honest.
I missed the golf with friend
Oh,
days.
man.
Those were only like
Yeah.
last month, but still.
Yeah.
Oof.
Fucking serious. Why did you leave?
There are so many good moments on the Score Hero community. Really, the community got so large so quick,
And then died.
and there are so many great memories of it, and so many great people. Like I don't even know where to start. There's so much.
Top contributor.
I hope that Clone
Get-togethers.
Hero does the same thing except doesn't die.
Well, the reason Score Hero died is because
gaming.
Rhythm Gaming died, and it wasn't really viable anymore. So
That's why I'm really impressed with Clone Hero, because kind of going a little off topic, but I noticed that after this Christmas, I got at least one message on the Twitter by a mom who's like, I just bought my son a computer for Christmas. It's his first computer, and we watched this tutorial, Frost's tutorial on setting up Clone Hero. They're like, we can't use the file. It's only downloading as a file. What could be wrong? And I had realized that Frosted didn't explain how WinRAR works or 7-zip or anything. He just opened the file.
God.
So I was like, okay, well, I tasked filing with creating a new tutorial, and that's what's out there now. But, like, talking to that mom, I was like, holy shit, there are parents getting this game, or their children trying to get this game, and their parents are helping them out. And parents like my mom, like, she loves Guitar Hero. And so setting her up with Clone Hero with all the old Guitar Hero soundtracks, all so she can play it, she's like, this is the best game ever. And it just feels good to know that getting people who were once into rhythm gaming, like a lot of parents and kids back on the Wii, because the Wii was like the biggest family console in existence, just knowing that they're coming back to rhythm gaming, it just feels nice.
I remember something. I remember something back in the RGC several months ago. there was this guy basically saying that that I think he worked somewhere with old people, and he said that he was trying to think of something for Guitar Hero to bring Guitar Hero to those kind of places to help the old people with issues.
Mm-hmm.
I think I remember that. I can't remember who that was, but
If we find it out, I mean,
I don't know.
it'd be pretty interesting to see.
When Clone Hero gets drums, it'll be probably the best rhythm game in existence because
Please, when we're talking about drums, I don't want to butt in. Please go by
It is.
Rock Band
It's
4
four-lane.
Yes.
Do not.
It is. It's 4-lane.
Do not go by the Guitar Hero on Horde.
It is 4-lane.
face shift.
4-lane is what's planned.
We need 3 pads and 3 cymbals.
Face shift.
yeah. But yeah, once that happens and multiplayer comes out, you'll be able to, I guess anyone that has like a Wii set or an Xbox set or whoever played Rock Band 3 and all those old games can dig those old Rock Band kits out and be able to play with their friends across the country who have only guitars and stuff
world.
like that. It'll be insane.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking big picture, big picture. Like one step at a time. I want to see local multiplayer start taking off, and then
I mean,
we'll go
it
from there.
somewhat works as long as you're not using Wii guitars. Because the Wii guitars bind as the keyboard, and then you can't use 2 keyboards at once, and it's weird.
Move. To be honest, maybe we could I don't know. Never mind.
All right. But
Cut this bit out.
something I kind of do like to bring up whenever there's the discussion of drums or multiplayer or whatever. There's a lot of people who seem to think like, oh, look at all these developers working on this game. Why is it taking so long for this to come out or that to come out? There's a lot of people who don't understand that ZeroHearts is the developer. He is making the game.
He's the only one, right?
Matt, MD Sitton, he gives help with code sometimes because he codes himself. He's working on his own rhythm game, Open Rhythm. That's supposed to be open source, I think. I think that's what the whole thing is. It's going to be an open source rhythm game. And Filing and Inventor, they're the art guys. They provide the logo, anything that's 2D art, anything you can do in Photoshop, throw up in Photoshop, that's they're doing. We used to have Captain Toasty, who was doing the UI and the 3D models, but he kind of took a break from everything because he was swamped to the point of where he had no free time and a job and a family, and he was moving. So he's just like, I just need to take a break. But a lot of people,
Yeah, no, that's understandable.
You know, with Cerulean, how busy he is and what he's doing with the game, the fact that I jumped into Clone Hero and I was struggling on my old computer to run the game properly, like it was losing sync and all this crazy shit, he took the time to create his own versions to see if he can figure out the issue, and just making versions for me, so to help me figure out what my issue was on my shitty old computer. It's like, you're already super busy trying to develop this game. You're putting all this time
and having
into
a job.
and having an actual job, and you know, then you're taking your time for individuals who are having issues and trying to figure them out. And I know in the long run it's good because it helps you with the game, making it more polished, but it's just really cool.
Yeah.
Like, me and him were doing PMs for a while. He's like, how does this build look? And I'm like, oh, this build's doing this wrong. He's like, all right, here's a new build, like 10 minutes later. I'm like, geez.
Yeah, he's pretty
Slow down,
quick
man.
with how he puts out new builds. The problem is getting the new build up to the point of usability. Because for a lot of people who don't have access to the testing on all that, which has become somewhat...
Oh my god, the test
which has become
corner.
somewhat of a meme, because when the server first started, all you had to do was type !tester, and you would get the tester role and access to Tester's Corner. But by the time I had joined the server, that had already become a meme. Like, whenever you typed it now, it was like, are you really trying to get that role? Or something like that. It was always something kind of funny.
I got pulled into it just because, you know, I was having issues on my old computer.
Yeah, like, we basically made it so there's a lot of people who are extremely active who do test the game whenever he drops a new build, but it'll take, like, once build number 19 comes out, whenever that is, because, like, right now we're kind of in a lull between 18 and 19. He's busy working on what the next version of the game is going to hold, and then once it becomes testable, then it becomes rapid fire. Like, he's throwing in builds every either multiple times a day or every day, and it's just crazy how much he puts out for being a guy who lives with a roommate who has a kid and he also has a job that while also taking care of his roommate's kid sometimes when his roommate has to go to work.
It's pretty amazing.
And this is all completely for free. He refuses to let me give him money, and I've offered it multiple times, and he's refused to give, or Adendo has offered. He's like, dude, you made a Linux build. I will give you money because there was a driver or there was some sort of plugin you needed from Unity to get the controller drivers working on Linux. And it was like $50. Adendo's like, I will give you the money right now. And he's like, no, I'm not taking it. So this guy is doing it for free, for fun. And it started out as a passion project like 2 years ago.
He just loves freaking game that much.
I was gonna say, a lot of people don't realize how awesome Clone Hero really is. It's because what's the insane thing about it is that you have a game that's completely free, that has a spreadsheet that has nearly every custom guitar song ever made, and we'll soon have drums and multiplayer, and it's all for free. And that's all you have to do.
And it's got a clean engine, I'll say that much.
Me and I don't really talk to much of the devs that often. I mean, I talk to Filing mostly, but seriously, fucking Cyrilin is probably the fucking greatest person in a video game developer out there, to be honest.
And if anybody's actually interested more in the history of Clone Hero, on our wiki we have a history page where I was like, okay, I'm going to put a history page here, and when developing the wiki, I was like, we'll fill it out later with whatever. Sri Lane just like a day later was like, okay, filled out the history page. And I went there and I read it and I'm like, holy shit. Like, just how much it was just a passion project because he wanted a Guitar Hero game that was an RPG. And he's like, I want this. And then he made it and it was really basic, but it worked. And then he made online multiplayer for the really shitty older version, because he would host just a server and like you would join the server. I know Panther who has played it with him because he still has that old server that holds like 2 people. And it worked. So online multiplayer will work. The fact is he wants to get the game completely finished and spruced up to the point where at least drums are out and the game isn't breaking on everything before he's like, okay, now I feel it's comfortable to add multiplayer. Because if you try to add multiplayer and then add in more shit later on, like another instrument or something, it'll just kind of mess everything up.
Yeah, so like that's why I'm like one step at a time. I mean, I'm not a coder myself, but I understand the kind of like idea of how it works, because music writing is sort of similar in that regard, where like you can't just complete something and then
change it halfway through.
You know, let's just change it halfway through and just throw a new thing in there. It doesn't work. Like let's say I'm working on some big piece, and then like, I want to add an oboe to this whole thing, and it's like it's not gonna work. It's just gonna blow everything up because you had it set up a certain way and you had it set up with a certain texture setup and instrumental setup. I can see coding being the same thing, math similar in that way. I used to be a big math
geek.
And
one misplaced semicolon and your entire code breaks, and you have to figure out where in this gigantic 700, 800 lines of code where that one semicolon went wrong and ruined your whole project. It's so stressful.
I have a friend who DHO, he's the guy who got me into like get-togethers and stuff. Right. So I got to meet people. He's a coder. He's self-taught. And he used to work for a debugging company before he worked for Google, and debugging was like his big thing, and he did seminars and stuff on it. And yeah, debugging is pretty much more important than the code itself.
When you're writing for a newspaper or something. Also, is that the guy who did the online Cards Against Humanity?
No, You
just have 2 friends who worked at Google then?
Yes. Well, the one friend used to work at Google, and he's no longer there. And DHO started last year at Google. So, big congrats to him, man.
That's pretty impressive.
I mean, I'm surrounded by freaking coders. All my close-knit friends from Score here are all coders. It's so weird.
You could get to the point where you're like, I want to actually make something because nobody's making what I want yet. This is what it's become.
I mean, I just could never get into coding.
I
don't know
can
why.
code, but it's so stressful when, like I said, you miss that one semicolon and you're sitting there for 2 hours staring at this block like, I cannot see the issue. And then eventually somebody comes up and they're like, oh, it's right there. You missed it because you've been staring at the screen for 4 hours.
Should we have our thanks for listenings?
Yeah. I'd say let's have the guest go first. Because he's our guest and also a host, but still our guest.
Yes.
Also a good person.
Thank you for listening, everybody. This was Gary.
This is Ray. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. You're good people, I guess.
I love awkward silences. But yeah, thanks for listening, guys. Not sure how we're gonna do. Well, there's probably gonna be a weekly thing. Maybe it's just like anything. You start a project, you're like, okay, well, we'll see how it goes down the line. This will definitely happen at the least bi-weekly, but weekly is the plan. And eventually maybe a live stream, and once we get the whole Discord sorted out, we'll have a Discord you guys can join and drop questions for future guests so we can throw them in, and maybe even down the line we can figure out a way to get some guests in to listen in live to us, so they can throw in questions in chat. 'Cause, I mean, we have to keep them muted because always got to be careful of what happens. But
I still think
Yeah.
doing it on Twitch would be better and just having the users submit questions that way.
I definitely agree. Down the line for sure. Once we get the format figured out, and kind of like H3H3, they do their own podcast. They do it on Twitch. Just figure it out. I don't know. Geez.
Anyway, even though I'm the guest here, I will be back since I'm also a host. So, yeah, let's just end this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We love you guys. Bye.